Welcome to the Naturally Healthy Pets podcast. Let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Naturally Healthy Pets podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Judy Morgan. My guest today is Jody Teiche, and we are going to talk about unleashing the power of energy medicine to heal your pets. Jody is a certified people and pet health coach and energy medicine practitioner. I love when they're combined. My sister is a physical therapist and energy healer for pets and their people, and it's so cool when you can do both.
We're so connected.
Yes. Jody guides her clients to become their pet's healer, learning effective natural ways to achieve, and I love this, bio-individual health goals and holistically address all aspects of the animal's health. Jody is also a certified pet homeopathic educator. Great to add that in because it's really an energy modality too. Also using in her practice nutrition education and cutting-edge energy healing modalities, which have been very effective in creating healthier, more vibrant animals and their humans. Her podcast, The Pet Health Coach, is available on Pet Life Radio and all major platforms. And you, if you feel so inclined at the end of this show, after listening to this, can book a consultation with Jody, and she will give you 20% off your consultation if you mention one takeaway from listening to the show. So take notes if you think you might want to do a consultation.
We're making you work.
Yeah, there you go. You got homework in this show. See, my mother's a teacher, and I frankly, I feel like now most of my career I've been a teacher. And so giving you homework, even if you bring an animal to me, if you brought an animal to me in the clinic, you were going to get homework. You either have to go find a new food or cook some food or do some massage, or there was always homework. So
that's important information.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what is this is a multi-part question. What is a pet health coach? Like, what do you help people with? What do you do for them? How does that work? Mm-hmm. And I also want to know where did you become certified as a pet health coach? In case somebody wanted to do that.
Okay. So a pet health coach, kind of think of an analogy of a football field. And you and your animal are at one end of the field with whatever challenges, issues you're grappling with. At the other end of the field are your goals, accomplishing your goals. A pet health coach helps guide you down the field, avoiding the pitfalls, i.e. getting tackled, helping you with a game plan, right, to reach that goal so you know exactly where you're going step by step. And through knowledge transfer, through resources that we have, and through really being your rock, your support and cheerleader. That is what we do for pet parents. And you know, Dr. Judy, when a pet parent wants to go a natural route, they may not get the support that they'd like from their conventional vet. They may not even get the support that they'd like from fellow pet parents in the dog park who don't think the same way.
Or family members.
So having someone who knows more than they do, who has the resources and knowledge and can be their support system, can be their champion.
Absolutely.
It's very helpful, I find, from the pet parents that I work with.
Well, sure. I mean, we all need coaches in life no matter what we're doing. When I wrote my first book, I had to hire a coach to tell me how to let people know that I had written a book, and nobody even knew who I was then. So we have coaches in all walks of life. So why not with our pets?
Exactly. And especially when you go online, if you're going to Dr. Google, and you're looking for a solution to a problem that is really impacting your pet and your lives. And there is so much incoming and so much of it is conflicting. Yeah. It's like, you don't know what to choose. It's enough to drive you nuts.
Yep. So, and if you're on social media, you'll get 20 different answers to the question.
Yes.
And none of them agree.
Yes.
And some of them are really harmful.
Yes, exactly. So that's another really good reason to have a pet health coach who you can trust and who will guide you.
And so how did you become a pet health coach? Yeah, that's part two.
So Part two, I am a certified health coach for people, and I went to school for that. I am not certified as a pet health coach, but I have years of, well, I've been a pet parent forever, and I've been into natural medicine forever. I've been using homeopathy and a student of homeopathy for 35 years. So I've amassed a wealth of information on nutrition. I did study nutrition with FeedReal. So, and that program is robust. I mean, it's designed really for vet techs. And with my knowledge about that, about nutrition, about homeopathy, and about the supplements that I'm always the guinea pig. And most of the things I recommend are human grade. So it's stuff that you can share with your pet. I've amassed a lot of information and been able to help pet parents.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and probably a good portion of people that you're coaching for their health have pets.
Yes. There are clients where they are my clients and their pets are my clients as well. And we have separate sessions. We do.
Well, it is really important because I found even in my practice, I would teach a pet parent holistic things for their pet, diet changes for their, a lot of nutritional information. And then sometimes the clients would come back in and they would be totally transformed. And I'd be like, what happened to you? Well, we were doing all this for the dog and we thought, well, why are we not applying this to ourselves? And then they would make those transitions into feeding themselves better, going to the gym, getting that mental stimulation, that physical stimulation. And it's really so cool when you can see it transform a whole family. So I love that you do
love
both.
that. Absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had a health coaching session with a human and said, because the gut microbiome, we know that is the center of good or poor health. It's so important. And that means emotional health too, because of that vagus nerve, the gut-brain connection, right? The axis. I can't tell you how many times I've said to a pet parent, I want you to go on a really great probiotic, and a pre, pro, and postbiotic all in one is sometimes a great idea. There aren't many, but there's one that I love, and don't laugh when I tell you what it is. And they say, what? And I said, it's called Mutt Gut. And it is a human formulation, but I've taken it. My friends have taken it. I love to know sourcing. I think that's so important to know sourcing. So I know the woman whose company it is, and she gives shots out at trade shows to all the people who come by the booth. It works and it's wonderful. And I get my human clients and their pets to share Mutt Gut or their kitties to do kitty cut. So these things happen all the time. It happens with mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
It happens with all sorts of things. So yes, we're very connected and there's so much available to us today where both the pets and the parents can get healthier together.
Yeah, I just did a major shopping spree in our warehouse this morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I need, for me personally, I need some slippery elm. I need some marshmallow root. I need some L-glutamine. And it's just like, well, I personally don't want to use something on my pet that I'm not willing to eat myself. And I mean, I have eaten pet food, human grade pet food. I would never eat animal feed. But if I'm not willing to eat it, then they shouldn't have to eat it. So we share our mushrooms. We share a lot of our tinctures and things, our CBD formulas. We're all in the same thing. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I want to touch briefly on homeopathy. Anybody who follows me,
topic.
I know it's a big topic. Anybody who follows me should know what homeopathy is, but just give us a quick, what is it and what kind of things do you treat with it?
Okay. I'm going to try and do this really quickly because it is a very elegant, complicated art meets science form of medicine. The premise of it is like cures like. So basically, whatever your bio-individual symptoms are, that is how you look to find the remedy for you. And I'm going to give you a very quick example for your audience. Take 2 dogs, both with vomiting and diarrhea. One vomits right after eating. Dog number 2 vomits a few hours later. Dog number 1 wants to be warm, toasty under the covers. Dog number 2 wants to be out in the open air. Dog number 1 wants to be cuddled right up next to you. Dog number 2 says, don't come near me. I don't feel good. 2 dogs with vomiting and diarrhea, each exhibiting their symptoms differently. So they would get different remedies.
Right.
It is very bio-individual. It is how that particular animal or human is exhibiting their symptoms. And it's energy medicine. So the actual medicine itself, and 2 great examples are arsenicum and belladonna. Arsenic and belladonna, nightshade, are deadly when taken in their raw form. But when you make a substance homeopathic, it goes through many dilutions, and then what we call rapid shaking, succussion in homeopathy. And that succussion releases the energy into the liquid. And it is that energy, when it's matched correctly with the energy of the illness, because we're all made up of energy, right, Dr. Judy? Every cell vibrates on its own frequency. When you match that correctly by taking a good symptom picture, then the symptoms start to fall away. That is very simplistic.
That was great.
Thank you. Many wrinkles. That's why acute pet parents can learn the basics of homeopathy, and they can treat acute at home. But when it comes to chronic, deeper issues, it's good to get with somebody who has more experience in homeopathy.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a homeopathy course on Dr. Judy Yu that was done by one of my holistic vet friends. And it's for those acute conditions. Like, what can I do at home? Because everything happens Saturday night at 2 a.m. There's just, there's nobody available, or it's going to cost you $7,000 to walk into the emergency room. So, but as you're saying that about the 2 dogs, 1 dog from a tcvm standpoint, I'd be saying, okay, we've got 1 cold dog, we've got 1 hot dog, we've got 1 cold diarrhea, we've got 1 hot diarrhea. So cold diarrhea gets 1 meal and hot diarrhea gets a different meal. The energy, it really works across the board, no matter what holistic modality we're coming from. So I actually
that's why
started.
These things can work beautifully synergistically, right?
Exactly. I actually started out studying homeopathy when I first got into doing things alternatively, complementary, whatever we want to call it. And it was so much information that I was like, I don't think I can ever learn this. So I moved over to TCVM because it spoke to me. And I think for to be a good homeopath, it has to speak to you. It has to be something that you're like, no, this is my thing. And I really I admire homeopaths. But it really is. You sit there with all of your symptoms and you match them up in your formulary. We need to take a break.
Yeah.
We need to take a break to hear from our sponsor. I totally got off track. I am so sorry. We'll be back in just a few moments.
I'm excited to tell you about Raised Right. Raised Right is a family-owned, human-grade pet food company that works with veterinarian Dr. Karen Becker to make gently cooked whole food recipes that are high in protein and low in carbohydrates. I feel good recommending Raised Right because their adult dog recipes are complete and balanced through using only whole foods without having to add any synthetic vitamins or minerals. And most of their recipes have less than 2% carbs. That and their recipes are so simple, many having only 10 ingredients or less. My own dogs and cats absolutely love Raised Right. Order yours today by going to raisedrightpets.com/Dr. Judy. That's spelled out raisedrightpets.com/DrJudy. Raised Right is raising the bar on high-quality, whole food nutrition for your pets.
Do you understand the results of your pet's lab work? Well, Dr. Judy makes it easy with her Understanding Lab Values Simplified course that will help you figure out the puzzling language of diagnostics when it comes to results like the CBC, chemistry screen, urinalysis, and endocrine testing. Learn the basics of what your pet's lab work actually means, and then get that lab work reviewed by Dr. Judy herself to apply that knowledge to your specific case. Podcast listeners get to take advantage of a 20% discount when using the promo code PODCAST43 at checkout on drjudyu.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Naturally Healthy Pets podcast, and I am your host, Dr. Judy Morgan. My guest today, Jody Teiche, is a certified people and pet health coach and energy medicine practitioner. So she's got lots of tools in her little toolbox that she uses to help you get across the finish line successfully with your pets having a long, healthy, vital life, and you along with them. And so it's really, really cool. So let's talk about what's frequency healing and then scanning. What is that? You've got some cool stuff in here.
Yeah, woo-hoo-hoo. Sounds very woo-woo, but it's actually a science that was developed by Tesla, Einstein, and Rife back in the 1940s. And basically all it says is because we are all made up of energy and every cell, every chromosome vibrates on its own frequency, frequency healing is frequency scanning. It is a machine. Now it's even more sophisticated. So it's a database. You can do it on your own machines that scans the body, human or animal, identifies those frequencies that are out of balance, and then sends imbalance corresponding frequencies to the body to gently coax those that are out back in. And the cool thing is that if you do this several times over the course of a couple of weeks, it sends out reports every time, right? So you get to see, and they're very detailed reports. And there are lots of different types of scans, from emotional scans that link what's going on with your 3 highest and 1 lowest frequency in your voice to what's going on in your vital organs and things that might have caused that, exogenously from the outside. And then lifestyle changes you can do to balance yourself back in. So you get these reports. And if you see the same frequencies coming up over and over again as being out of balance, this is beautiful education that's preemptive for you to look at what part of the body this is emanating from and what lifestyle changes you can make to head something off at the pass when it's just energy and it's not yet a condition. So I love that about this. I think it's an incredible informational tool. And I use it on myself, my animals, and with clients.
It's funny because when you said that it's just, frequencies that are kind of out of balance and shifted, I had this vision of, chiropractically adjusting frequencies. I mean, it's just
kind of in a way.
And chiropractic care is, I don't go because I have issues. I go because I don't want to have issues. Yeah, so I want everything aligned the way that it is meant to be aligned so that our, my biomechanics are working in the right direction. So it's the same thing with the frequency healing.
Here. So same thing here. There's one other. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to ask, how are you realigning the frequencies? I mean, I know people do. My sister uses tuning forks, and but she's working on the animals like in person, whereas I think a lot of yours is done remotely. So how is that?
How does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, so first, this database has over 150,000 frequencies in it. Does it have every single bacteria on the planet, the gazillion, million, billion, trillion, gazillion bacteria that are in? No, but it has enough of the key bacteria so that it gets as close to. So, okay, you've got this database, like sitting in your living room and flicking through your TV channels with your remote. You don't have every TV station in your living room with you on the couch. You have the ability through the frequency of that station to be able to access it remotely. So I get information from my client, and that goes into my machine, which is the data attaches to the, connects to the database. And through that information, the database is able to find you. And so when I do the balancing of your frequencies, when we do the scanning, part one of the frequency healing, it finds you, it scans you, and then it identifies your out of balance frequencies, and then it sends those balanced frequencies to you. And I've seen the results of it so many times, and it's been around for so long that it just works. It sounds wackadoodle, but it just works.
I've seen it when I was learning chiropractic. We went to some horse farms to work on horses somewhere out in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. And somebody had one of those biofrequency units there for us to see it used with the horses. And it's pretty cool stuff. Like, I can't tell you exactly how it works. It does sort of stretch the limits of your imagination a little bit. But again, when you see it work, you kind of go, huh, how about that?
Exactly. There's one other thing that I want to bring up, which is also something that most pet parents and people in general aren't going to be aware of, but it also ties into homeopathy. And it is frequency healing, and it addresses something that in people and pets, especially because our dogs and cats are spayed and neutered, oftentimes so very young. And if you picture, this is a horrible picture, but you picture a 10-year-old girl given a hysterectomy and expecting her to blossom into a woman with everything that she needs to be able to do that successfully. These animals are more susceptible, they're more vulnerable to certain illnesses, right, Dr. Judy, as they get older. So finding a way to support them hormonally is very important. And one of the things, people bring me things all the time. One of the things that I discovered is, and this is super cool too, is a homeopathically prepared transdermal, I mean, on the skin, not a pill or a pellet or anything else, hormone balancer and optimizer. So you literally can put a dime size and rub it on the inside of your dog's thigh. And the three main ingredients are microdosing homeopathic human growth hormone. So it's not putting HGH into the body. Right. It's stimulating your own pituitary to make more of your own HGH. The second is thyroidium, stimulating your own thyroid to balance. And the third is Supranalis suis, which is a porcine-based adrenal that is stimulating your own, homeopathically prepared again, stimulating your own adrenals to balance. So now you have an endocrine system that is balanced. And what is it doing? It's freeing up the body to do what we know it's designed to do, heal. So we're seeing lots of conditions roll away. We're seeing humans get off of certain medications. And we're seeing the opportunity for pets to have a beautiful support that's natural to stimulate their own bodies into homeostasis.
That is very cool.
I know.
So, we've done a couple focus weeks on spay neuter and supporting the pets who have been spayed or neutered, particularly those who were done very, very young. Is that homeopathic preparation readily available, or would someone have to go to a homeopath to get something like that?
It's readily available. You do it through someone you know. And yes, anybody can get it.
Wow.
Because it's do no harm medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
That is very cool. And, as you're describing what it's made of, really, it's 3 other glands in the endocrine system. So we've got the adrenal, the thyroid, and the pituitary. And this is the thing that, as from a veterinary medicine standpoint and population control, for whatever reason that we've decided in the US, we have to spay and neuter every single animal. And I get it, because people are totally irresponsible. And, I once did a school talk and a kid came up to me and said, my dog has had 80 puppies. And I just went, let me get you a spay neuter certificate. So, European countries do not do this to their animals. It is a US problem, really. Problem for our animals. And so when we've done these focus weeks, I always harp on, you can't just rip one endocrine gland out of the body without affecting the others. Everything has to work together. And so when we do that, we have adrenal gland stress, we have pituitary stress, we have thyroid stress. Many dogs who get spayed or neutered, middle-aged, later age, within 6 months, they're going to be hypothyroid, because all of a sudden the other glands are like, what the heck just happened here? So we need to support them no matter what. So I totally,
and we may be
love
able
that.
to head that off at the pass, so that they never become hypothyroid. Because in people, there are plenty of people getting off of thyroid meds, certainly off of HRT, and even blood pressure medications.
Wow.
So, I can't make medical claims. That's, we know what happens with making medical claims, but I can say that, people have been reporting their own experiences.
That's awesome.
And this is something that could absolutely work for dogs.
Very, very cool. We
Yeah.
are out of time. I learned a lot here. This is very fun. So for those of you who are listening, if you did your homework and you want to schedule a consultation with Jody about you or your pet, and maybe need a little coaching along the way to move you down to that goal line that she's talking about, make sure you give her some tidbit of information that you took away from this show, and she'll give you 20% off that consultation. Jody, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. It's so important.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I really love when we can kind of combine the pets and their people, because they are an important family unit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me this platform, Dr. Judy. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another great Naturally Healthy Pets episode. Be sure to check out the show notes for some helpful links. And if you enjoy the show, please be sure to follow and listen for free on your favorite podcast app. We value your feedback and would love to hear from you on how we're doing. Visit drjudymorgan.com for healthy product recommendations, comprehensive courses, upcoming events, and other fantastic resources. Until next time, keep giving your pet the vibrant life they deserve.
The purpose of this podcast is to educate and to inform. It is no substitute for professional care by a veterinarian, licensed nutritionist, or other qualified professional. You're encouraged to do your own research and should not rely on this information as professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Dr. Judy and her guests express their own views, experience, and conclusions. Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets neither endorses or opposes any particular view discussed here.